He killed his son, he killed his wife, drowned in a scalding bath, and yet the Church declared him a saint and called him the Great. This is Constantine, the man who decided that you are Christian without asking you, without ever requesting your permission. If you wear a cross around your neck today, if you celebrate Christmas, if you live in a country with Christian roots, he set all of it in motion 1,700 years ago in a single day. Subscribe. What comes next is more complicated than it appears. It all begins in one place. Rome, 312 AD. Two armies are preparing to face each other, the Milvian Bridge, the Tiber River, the sky above Rome. A general looks up and sees something he cannot name, something he cannot explain. Flavius Valerius Constantinus was born around the year 272, somewhere in the Balkans, most likely in the city of Nisus, modern-day Niš in Serbia, the son of a Roman officer and a woman named Helena. Helena was not a legitimate wife. She was a concubine, an illegitimate son, in an empire where birth determined absolutely everything you would ever become. And yet, his father, Constantius, became emperor, one of the four co-rulers of the Roman Empire under the system of the Tetrarchy. Four emperors governing together an empire too vast for any single man to rule alone. When Constantius died in 306 at York in Britannia, the army acclaimed Constantine as emperor. Simple, fast, without consulting anyone at all. That was how fast it happened. The problem was that the Tetrarchy did not work that way. There were still three other emperors alive, all of them with claims to the throne, all of them with armies, all of them ready to fight. For 6 years, the Roman Empire was torn apart by civil war, one pretender after another, one battle after another. Constantine survived them all, and in 312 he marched toward Rome, toward the last serious rival standing between him and total power, Maxentius. Maxentius had the larger army. His positions were stronger. Rome itself was his fortress. Constantine was at a disadvantage, and he knew it. Every general in his camp knew it. And then, according to the sources of the time, he saw a cross in the sky, or a light in the shape of a cross, or he had a dream. The sources differ on the details, but they all say the same essential thing. Constantine received a sign, and he decided to fight under the sign of Christ. He placed the Christian symbol on the shields of his soldiers. Chi Rho, the first two letters of the name of Christ in Greek. And he won. Maxentius drowned in the Tiber during the retreat. Constantine entered Rome as the sole master of the Western Empire. Rome received its conqueror. The head of Maxentius was carried through the city on a spear. A message Romans understood very well. The struggle for power was over, for now. The senators swore loyalty. The crowds cheered. The army occupied the strategic points of the city. Order had been restored, but behind the imperial ceremony, something unusual was already quietly happening. The new emperor was not thanking the traditional gods of Rome, not Jupiter, not Mars. He was thanking a god who, just a few years before, had been worshipped in secret, in catacombs beneath the city streets. Few people realized at the time how radical the change actually was. Now, was this a genuine divine vision or cold political calculation? Christians represented between 10 and 20% of the empire's population, a minority, but an organized minority, with solid structures, with extensive networks across every province, with a discipline that other groups simply did not have. A man who won the sympathy of Christians gained a very real and lasting political advantage. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Constantine saw something, or believed he saw something, and chose to interpret that something in his own political favor. The man and the moment met perfectly, as they sometimes do in history. In 313, Constantine and his co-emperor Licinius issued the Edict of Milan, religious freedom for all citizens of the empire, including Christians. The persecution stopped. Confiscated churches were returned. Christianity came out of the catacombs. It had not yet become the state religion, not yet, but it was no longer a persecuted religion. Constantine went further. He financed the construction of churches across the entire empire. He gave the clergy significant and unprecedented tax privileges. He appointed Christians to important and visible positions in government. He personally sat through theological debates he barely understood and cared about even less. And in 325, he convened the Council of Nicaea. 300 bishops from across the entire empire, brought at the expense of the state, to the emperor's table. All of it paid for by the state. The subject under debate, the nature of Christ. Was Christ equal to God the Father, or was he a creation of God, inferior to the Father? Arianism versus orthodoxy, a theological debate, but also a deeply political one. An empire with a single religion needed a single doctrine. The council decided Christ was of the same substance as the Father, consubstantial. Arianism was declared heresy by imperial decree. Constantine was not a theologian, but he understood the power of unity. One empire, one law, one faith. The irony is that he himself was not baptized a Christian until he was on his deathbed in 337 at the age of 65, after an entire lifetime spent promoting Christianity without officially embracing it. Why? Some say he was afraid of sinning after baptism. Christianity at the time held that baptism washed away all previous sins. A man who ruled an empire accumulated sins inevitably. Wars, executions, impossible decisions made under pressure. Perhaps he simply waited until he was certain there was no time left to sin again. And Constantine did sin. He ordered the execution of his own son, Crispus, a talented general, loved by the army, respected by his men. The official reason was never publicly declared. Probably palace intrigue. Probably accusations from his stepmother. Probably fear that his son would overshadow or replace him. He also ordered the death of his wife, Fausta, shortly after Crispus, drowned in a scalding bath. Official cause unstated, unofficial cause eliminated. The man who had protected the Christians, who had built churches across the empire, who had presided over the Council of Nicaea, had killed his own son and his own wife. Power forgives no one, not even those who consider themselves chosen by God. But Constantine's legacy reaches far beyond these personal crimes. He moved the capital of the empire from Rome to Byzantium, which he renamed Constantinople, the city of Constantine. 1,123 years of continuous imperial history, until the day it finally fell to the Ottomans in 1453. He deeply restructured the Roman army. He completely reorganized the administration of the empire. He created a stable monetary system with the gold solidus, a coin that would circulate across the entire Mediterranean basin for centuries to come. And he transformed Christianity from a persecuted religion into an imperial one, from a marginal and persecuted sect into the very foundation of Western civilization. Think about what that actually means. Every cathedral in Europe, every Christmas celebrated, every cross worn around a neck, every Bible ever printed, all of them trace a direct line back to a Roman general who looked up at the sky before a battle. Did he truly believe? Did he coldly calculate? Probably both. Probably not even he knew for certain. But his decision mattered far more than his faith ever did or could. Constantine the Great, not a saint, not a monster, a man of power who used faith the way other men of power use armies. And in that process, he changed the world that all of us live in today, without fully knowing exactly what he was building, without fully understanding what he had set in motion. That is what people who change history actually do. They do not plan everything. They do not control everything. They choose a moment, and they let the world reorganize itself around that choice. Entirely, Constantine chose the cross, and the world was never the same again.